Welcome to the Challenger League for WCS Korea. I am Wolf, and as always, I'm with Kaldor. We got 3 mirror matches today. They're all different ones. And then, of course, a Terran versus Zerg to round out the night. A lot of really big-name players today.
Yeah, there are a lot of big-name players that we have today. We're starting things off with DRG versus Savage, our Zerg versus Zerg mirror matchup. 4 games, and we are in the 3rd round of the Challenger League already, which means the winners of today will go to the Premier League Season 1 in 2014.
And that also means that because we have 3 mirror matchups, they're all different. That means at least one player from every race will be advancing today, and of course 1 extra Terran and 1 extra Zerg to round them out at the end.
And we have 3 cool matches coming up. I mean, we have Avenge here today playing against SOS. Probably not really the draw that he wanted to have for the last round. So SOS, of course, are like the favorite in this particular scenario. But Avenge has shown in the past that he's a very strong player, that he can take down big names, and he might be able to do it today. And then with the Terran players that we have Keen, for example, we have Fantasy. So a really good lineup today.
Yeah, Fantasy as well as DRG. Going to be our starting Zerg player here. So he's up against Savage. And honestly, a lot of people are trying to see, is DRG actually going to get back into Code S? Because he's actually kind of had a little bit of a resurgence, but he hasn't quite still gotten back to his level that he was at a long time ago.
DRG definitely has a good chance here, and so do the other players, of course. We have 10 Zergs currently in the 3rd round of the Challenger League, 6 Protoss, and 8 Terran players. Lack of Protoss players jokingly explained by a lot of people because they say like most of them are in the Premier League now anyways. But, of course, as you can see, the names that we have here are pretty impressive. SOS, Hero, Hurricane, we have Super, who made waves in the GSTL in the last season, Avenge, a player for Startail, and Saga, for some reason, just breeds Protoss players. Yeah. That's kind of what they do. But the Zerg lineup here, Koka, crazy games that he played so far, is going up against Flash in the 3rd round. That's going to happen like later on this week. So very strong games. Innovation himself is currently in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I mean, the Terran lineup is insane as it is. Here are our matches for today. Talked about them a little bit already. Savage versus DRG, Avenge versus SOS, Dream versus Keen, and last but not least, Fantasy versus Sleep. So I think today's the day you want to tell your friends to tune in. We do have a lot of mirrors, but they're all with really good players.
Yeah, and funny as it is, I mean, Sleep hitting another Terran player here. In the group that he played already in the Premier League, he was hitting only Terrans, and now once again, when it counts, he's up against a Terran player. So for him, it seems to be like the same matchup over and over and over again. But of course, starting things off today is our Zerg mirror match, where we have for Jina Green Wings Savage, and he is going up against DRG himself.
DRG looking a little bit disinterested right now. We'll have to be playing on Polar Night, and just the way he's resting his head on his hand there just looks either a little bit tired or quite frankly bored here. I wonder if he's got some builds planned where he thinks this one's going to be easy, or if he's really stressed. You know, with DRG sometimes it's really hard to tell. The most you can ever see out of him emotion-wise where it's clear what he's feeling is when he loses, but otherwise it's really hard to read.
DRG, of course, here in his first game in the Challenger League this season, he dropped out and came straight into the 3rd round, whereas Savage was winning he came through the 1st round with a 2-0 over Seed, and then he advanced over Sorry, who himself took out Symbol in the 1st round, which was something that a lot of people did not expect. Symbol, therefore, currently in Code B, and the ZVZ is going to decide if Savage will be able to go all the way. But the Zerg versus Zerg, not really the matchup where he was able to impress lately, so he has a very big task ahead of him. And DongRaeGu in the mirror matchup himself, pretty good win ratio, 53%. So let's see if he actually can edge out a win here and then once again go to the Premier League.
Yeah. As you can see, DRG actually was in Code S last season, something that Savage was not able to say about himself, so definitely coming from a stronger place here, despite having the negative win ratio at 8 and 9 in WCS Korea. I'm talking about WCS Korea specifically and no other leagues. It looks like Savage has an issue perhaps with his settings. We got the Golem Wizard in there. He's on it. Should be fixed pretty soon.
Savage himself is 19 years old. DRG, of course, a bit his senior here. And that's also something that comes into play just a little bit. 22 years for DongRaeGu, so he has a lot more experience also in age, but of course in international tournaments. He's the one who traveled the world, and Savage more restricted to the Korean era. So definitely a lot more experience in the booth for MVP, whereas Jina Green Wings, they are hoping on this newcomer to make an impression today. And so far this season, he had a really good run, as we already pointed out a bit earlier. So that would actually be a huge achievement for him. If he's able to take down DongRaeGu and go to the Premier League, that would be just massive for him.
Yeah.
Give him a lot of extra exposure, a lot of time in the limelight. Would be pretty cool for Jinek Green Wings as well. They actually have a lot of players now in the third round. I mean, Koka being another Zerg player that was able to make it into round 3, and he's going up, as mentioned before, against Flash a little bit later this week. But let's jump into game number 1 here at the WCS Challenger League in Korea. We have the third round coming up with DongRaeGu versus Savage. The GSL, Colin Wolf. And starting to the bottom of the map, we have the Jinek Green Wings player. Starting in red, it is
GNL Green Wings Savage.
Savage, 19 years old, is making his way through the rounds of the Challenger League. And he is up against a player drop down from the Premier League, starting for Team MVP to the top of the map in blue.
MVP DongRaeGu.
And he's up against a 9 pool here.
9 pool coming up for the challenger, you could say.
Yeah.
DongRaeGu definitely the one that most people expect to take this match. He's a man
Absolutely.
with more experience. He has a really good win ratio in the Zerg versus Zerg. 53% actually. And Savage, on the other hand, he's not really the strongest CVZ player. This matchup is where he struggles a little bit, and it's also the matchup that he didn't play so far this season. 3 wins, 5 losses in maps, 37% win ratio. And now he's going up against DRG, and he tries to be super aggressive. He does not only go for the pool early in the game, he also goes straight for the gas, wants to add the banelings here, and that's something that you usually do with the 10-10,
Yeah.
which he doesn't do.
Yeah, he gets the spawning pool a little bit faster. It's definitely an even more all-in aggressive type of build. It gives you a few extra seconds, but it does kind of affect your economy when you go for this. So Sixling's already on the way, 8 in total here.
He's committing to this.
Big time.
With the build that we have here for him, he's also sacrificing an additional lava for Zerglings, and this gives him a much weaker economy than he would usually have. As already mentioned before, he's going into the Baneling Nest here, of course. Speed would just hit way too late, so the Baneling Nest making a lot of sense for him. Instead of the 10-10, he plays it kind of at 9-9. Going into that build right now, he is all in. He will definitely commit everything that he has to this. And DRG, on the other hand, his pool has just started. He went for a hatch first build, and that could get really iffy for the Zerg player for Team MVP.
Yeah, he already saw it with his Overlord just barely, so he sees the link timing here, and here they come into his main base.
He needs perfect control on those drones. He needs to pull the drones now, trying to defend the pool, but it looks pretty much like a build order win. DRG waiting, buying himself some time, going in with the drones. The pool not going down. That would have been the GG right away. So far, DRG trying to do what he can. The Banelings are already building, and once those Banelings make their way into the main base, one Baneling hit could take down the entire economy of DongRaeGu.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, he has to defend his spawning pool here, and even if he gets a spine crawler up, it's only 1, and it's so far away. And now here come the Lings. He's going to try to trap the drones, or at least bait them out here into Baneling range. Baneling comes down. The beautiful hit, and the second one. Will it connect? It doesn't even matter. GG's.
Build order win here for Savage. Goes for a super aggressive strategy in game number 1 against DongRaeGu. DRG playing it a little bit greedy, going for the hatch first into gas, into his pool. The pool way too late, and then Savage with the 2 Banelings doing a really good job here. Not a lot that DRG could do here. Tried his best, but with the Banelings coming into the picture and the Spine Collar not being ready, his options were very limited.
Yeah. That was just one of those games where you try to play a greedy build, you don't expect something like this, and you just lose. I mean, maybe if a miracle occurred, and also not only the miracle, but Savage really messed up his control, DRG could have held, but I don't even fault him for just the GG before his drones even died, because what are you going to do after that? His drones are all in the red, there are Lings still out there, and more Banelings can morph at any time.
Exactly, there's another Baneling already that is just waiting for the Zerglings to pop out or to connect with the drones, and he had all of those Zerglings on creep so they could just chase those drones away for eternity. At this point there was no way for him to save the game anymore, and he knew it. And that leaves him in a very peculiar situation. Down a game already in the best of 3 without Savage showing a whole lot except for a very aggressive build. So this is a little bit hit or miss. DRG has to play it a little bit closer now.
Yeah, he really does. And DRG is a player who oftentimes gets affected emotionally by losses. Usually not until the series is over. But he looks like he's kind of in a little bit of a funk today. Doesn't seem like he's in a good mood at the very least. So taking that early loss definitely going to annoy him going into Game 2 on Whirlwind, so going to be a lot tougher to be aggressive on Whirlwind.
I mean, DRG was gambling a lot in the last game. He got a super late pool, and therefore he was hoping for his opponent to just go for a normal build. If Savage decides to, let's say, go into anything else but the build that he went for, DRG would have been in a pretty good position. So in this particular spot on that map, we had kind of build order win here for Savage, and DRG, I expect him to play things a little bit closer now. But of course, that also opens up the option of Savage playing really really greedy. And we're gonna see what exactly the Junior Green Rings player has planned for map number 2. So far, his strategy was a success.
Yeah. Really nicely done in game number 1. I mean, just the idea there, the build there. We'll see, though, when it comes to a straight-up game on Whirlwind, if he can actually go toe-to-toe with DRG here, because I do not think that he's going to be able to take an early win here from aggression. Not on Whirlwind, not against DRG.
Yeah, you can do it on Whirlwind as well if you have the timings completely mapped out, but if you spawn cross, then suddenly your plan usually goes awry. So we're going to find out here in game number 2 who's going to take it, if DRG brings us into game number 3 or if Savage closes it out with a quick 2-0.